even expenditure, but even the revenue side, even if the bank balances were all negative, still now that should be captured. Yeah.
To ask whether they have not inherited accounts being opened with any of the banks. I want
yes.
to believe they've inherited accounts already been opened with the banks, and if so, you can retrieve through the bank statements those balances that are there. Even though if you claim that you may not have the records there, but through the bank statements, you can be able to get something that you can rely on.
Yes, and besides, maybe we need to also find out if they have seen the audited accounts of 2018 for the council, because that one should tell you something. All the closest balances for that year. Have you seen the 2018 accounts of the council?
No, we've never. We've requested it, but we've never seen it. I've never seen the audited accounts for 2018.
Chair, I think this where we have the biggest problem. Because if you don't have information for 2018 and you want to prepare 2019, now I can understand why this adverse opinion. Yeah, because it doesn't seem these things actually are correct. Yeah.
At this juncture, Mr. Chairman, I want to intervene to say, when we came in, I think administration should be a continuous process. We will all agree with that. We cannot just agree that we didn't inherit anything at all. But I think we all know the administration of area council in this country was definitely very weak. And I can reliably tell you, access to records was really a very, very big problem at the time. So for the finance directors to say that it was difficult to have records, that will refer us to at least a baseline on how to start with this.
Can you use the mic, because?
Yeah, access to reliable records was a serious problem. And that, I think, we need to also elaborate on that. And that is why, in fact, at some point we appeal that if we could have some form of waiver on our auditing, so that we are able to have a starting point that can be a base for us to move to the next level as far as our area council financial administration is concerned. So this is not excluded from that. Thank you.
Yes, Sani.
I just want to find out whether did you inherit any accounts, like the banks? Did you inherit any accounts from the previous administrators?
Chair?
Yeah, okay. John?
Thank you very much, Chair and Masakonko Area Council. Either the finance director or the chairman, will you be able to tell us exactly, or will you be able to remember, because we know you've inherited, and as you said, you didn't inherit a lot. So will you be able to remember exactly how much, or on what stage was it when you came into the council? And then from there, we'll be able to know what to do, because you've just requested for a duty waiver or something like that, or a waiver or something like that. So can you tell us exactly how much you inherited?
Thank you very much, Honorable. I was appointed in July 2019. And when I was taking over, there was zero balance, in fact, a negative balance at the bank. So we were able to extract the bank statement, because during the time of the handing over, it was difficult, And even the handing over was not properly done because the former finance director, we had it, because it will reflect us in the notes, because there was no proper handing over in the sense, for him, there was, if you look at the queries that the difference is, if you go to the management letter, there are some issues where a voucher would be signed by the CEO and not be signed by the Director of Finance. And there was zero balance, in fact, a negative balance at the bank at that time. And you see, councils by July, they don't have funds at all. Because by most of the time, the peak period for council collection is January to June. So from July to December is a serious collect, because at that time, most of the trade license and other license is being paid. So we only rely 100% on the car park fees that government, that GRA is collecting and sending us. And at that time, between the time I came over, I think it was only the car park fees, that's about 1.something million that was paid to the account at the time. No, I mean at that time when I came in in 2019, yes, July, that was no fund. And we can provide bank statements and it will reflect on that. That when we were taking over, that was zero balance, or even a negative balance at that time.
Chair.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. It seems there's really a lot of issues here, because even if the bank balances are zero, there must be receivables. There must be receivables in some kind of form from the government or other entities within the jurisdiction of the council. Having bank balances of 0 doesn't actually mean that you don't have anything. Somebody may have owed you along the way. And he said he started from July 2019, which means from when he took on 2019, August. He said August, right? I thought he said July.
Yeah.
He started in July in 2019. Yeah. So something must have happened in 2018, because by July the new management of the council would have been there for 1 year already. Because I think the local government elections was in May 2018. So by July the following year, the council should have been 1 year plus. So I think this is a serious matter that we have to look at. Maybe we need to check with the previous committee the accounts for 2018, and let's see what's actually in those accounts for 2018. Because obviously, if those accounts are wrong in 2018, 2019 also will be wrong, and all subsequent accounts also will be wrong. So I think there's a need for us to go back to take a look at 2018, see what we have, if at all it was dealt with, because I don't know, I was not in the committee, so I don't know.
That's the question one should ask now.
Yeah.
Whether the 2018 reports were presented to the previous committee and dealt with.
I wasn't here.
Yeah, thank you. I may not be able to recollect entirely as to whether the records are there, but I will just still go back to the same thing. The system in place, especially when it comes to financial management, was very weak at the time when we took over. I remember very well, it was a very big concern at the time for us to see even what kind of accounting package we operate on. It was barely no good system in place. So, and that also I believe we all know, will reflect on the recording systems and all the other systems that will account for proper financial management. So I believe then it was work in progress that we have to see how we build on what is there to have, and that in fact led us to hiring, personnel, and also maybe making some moves to build some, to mobilize funding for good financial management system. Let's to say, have a financial package, have computers, have the requisite staff, so that we are able to build on what is there and move on. But 2018 was definitely some time when the recording system entirely, not only the finance, was very weak. So I will not be surprised if we have challenge to locate the records at the time. Thank you.
I think the concern is whether your 2018 reports were dealt with at the level of the National Assembly, which we need to establish through the clerks, because we cannot leave that untreated. We took that it was treated, but if you cannot ascertain, then I think we need to establish that through the clerks. And you have a question? Supplementary, okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. You've just mentioned that, like, for example, if you've rightly explained that 2018, when you came to office, absolutely there was nothing. And you are thinking of trying to raise a fund in order to get some stuff in the office, computers, text tables, and stuff like that. So, but do you have any strategy? Do you have anything in mind of the way of how you want to do that in order to raise funds? And why were you not doing this before today? What was the problem actually?
I mean, we know that we need to adjust on our financial management system, and because of that, the need was there to see how we adjust. And that is also connected to the subsequent audit exercises that happened during our time and the queries that were coming in. And also the frequent oversight of the council. Particularly the finance committee, we came to understand that some of the things were lacking at the time. And that has to come into play so that we are able to be vibrant when it comes to financial management. So, but there are abundant challenges, surrounding the whole stuff, because bearing in mind that resource constraint is one of them. That is, to hire competent financial staff. This is a sector that are highly mobile. You have to pay them to stay. A local council like Mansakunko Area Council, and also you have to have the equipment, the requisite equipment, to be able to record properly and report properly. So all those were issues, but we identified them, and it's work. Like I said, it's work in progress. I'm sure we've moved from one stage to the other. We've moved positively up, and I'm sure as we keep on coming here, the situation will be different. Yeah.
The auditor, you want to come in?
And this is not my show, but just to to help you, because about the 2018, what transpired. Okay. That's why I just say, if I can just make that clarification. Okay. Councils by the National Audit Office will conduct, not even annual audit, but every 2 years, when we go out on track, we'll conduct the audit of the area councils, but they have not been preparing financial statement. So, but even if you are not preparing financial statement, which is a precondition to audit, if it is private audit firm, but as National Audit Office, we don't have that liberty to say records are not there, we are not going to audit, meaning the risks will just go into monitor. That's the difference between National Audit Office and the private audit firms. So even though financial statements have not been prepared, but we go and look at their transaction, the internal controls, and report and prepare management letter and report those internal deficiencies and internal control lapses at the National Assembly. So that was in fact more of the reason why the National Audit Office established a special department called the Municipalities and Area Council to make sure that we focus on the audit of the area councils. We've been coming to the National Assembly but without financial statement. And then the former committee, it has been a big struggle.
Without financial statement?
Without financial statement.
Okay.
Without finances, I think the only council that will attempt will be KMC, but even that one, to make sense out of it was difficult. And then we've been in that back and front, then they say, you know what, because you can only prepare financial statement if records are there. If records are not there, there's nothing you can do. So that was the time they agreed. Now what we can do is, let's just try to have a baseline, and then it was agreed here with the former Auditor General. Let's use 2019 as the baseline. They gave them time. 2019, you make sure that whatever records you can put together, use that record to build and start preparing accounts from 2019, and then we start from there. So about 2018, we were still, providing the management letter, the internal control weakness, and then but the 2018 also should be used as a baseline. Let's say the closing balance, whatever figure you have, you can bring it as a comparison figure, then we start from 2019 and then move forward. That is why 2018, the transactions, the internal control issues also, the management letter are there, but the financial statement, they just waive that, but they can use the figure just to help them to build something from 2019 upward. Yeah.
So that's the point. Even whereas we can understand that you are trying to use 2019 as a baseline, but here it can be connected to 2018 with the closing balance.
You are right. Even in preparing the 2019, at least the 2018 figures should be here as a comparison figure to the I agree. Yeah, not the financial statement for 2018, exactly. But at least the figures for 2018 should come as a comparison figure to help you, exactly. to build your 2019. Yeah.
Okay, you want to comment on that?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Yes, I think that should be okay, at least to try to get a baseline. But at the same time also, we need to get the notes to the account. You have notes 1 through 18, and we don't have any document to see where that can be explained. And I think it's important that we have that. And the other item in the same page.
Can he elaborate on that or explain?
The note to the account, 1 through 18. I don't see any page that actually has the explanation.
Do you have explanation given on the notes that are indicated? Don't forget the point that you want to continue.
Actually, the notes that we are talking of, they are directly from the ledgers.
They are directly from the
ledgers.
Ledgers, okay.
Yes. Monthly postings are done in the ledgers, and cumulatively you have them together. Like for instance, when you talk about license, your transactions are entered in the ledgers, and at the end of the day, that's what you add up together to have these figures.
Yes, but then we should have a page that would actually explain, for example, 2 licenses. Probably, I don't know, but you may have different kind of licensing scheme, and the licensing scheme may have different costs attached to those things. And the notes to be able to explain that. Because without that, I look at it, I said, okay, note 2 say license, so then what else? What exactly are you referring to? What kind of license? So I think that information we have from those layers should also be captured here on a paper that would tell us, whoever is reading this financial, what actually you meant by note 2 or note 3 or note 5. Your first explanation. And when you look at the grants also, you say grants. There could be various grants. You may have 2, 3, or 4 different types of grants that you actually receive during the period. So these notes to be able to explain that, so that whoever reads it, with you will understand. But if a third party is reading it, they will not understand really what those things are.
It's well noted, but I know it's going to be very quality.
Can you use the mic?
The ledgers are already there, where the auditors have this information. Sorry, I believe if you should also go to the ledger to prepare these notes there, for instance, when you talk about license, because monthly entries are done, and if those entries are done in the ledger, you have to take those information, for instance, license, from January to December, what we have collected every month, you have it all together as sort of a note. It may be bulky, but nonetheless.
No. Chair, hold on, maybe I need to explain. For example, when you go to notes, for example, I just give an example of one of the councils, for example. There are note 1.
Kuntaur.
Oh yeah, Kuntaur. Okay. Yeah. Note 1, it says, note 1, conditional grant received from Gambia government during the year 2019, 500,000. Then you go to note 2, a license levy on operators of business under the following headings. Trade is 1 million, liquor, this amount, animal card, this, other income, this, then you total. That's the way you do it. Probably it's going 1 page or 2 page. It cannot be bulky.
Yeah, it may be in the ledger, but what it's trying to say,
you extract it.
It will be fitting in the report so that whoever is going to the report will know what note 1 refers to. Yeah, just you can give a summary of it. Mr. Chair. The other issue is regarding the excess expenditure of income at the tune of 133,857.09 butuls. How did you finance this excess expenditure?
This was an overdraft carried forward to the following year, 2020. An overdraft.
An overdraft
of 133,857.
And it's not reflective in the income column?
It's not?
An overdraft.
They overspent. I think an overdraft.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's perfectly right, because if you take an overdraft or a loan, which means actually you have a cash flow coming into your side. I think that needs to be properly recorded here, because if you look at the way it is actually, it doesn't really look correct, because we have a cash flow through by way of overdraft. And may I also ask, Chair, before we continue, about the budget for 2019? Do you have a budget for 2019?
Yes, there was a budget for 2019.
Okay. So this amount you have in here, was it within the budget or outside the budget?
You know, the budget, it was outside the budget, because this one, the budget was not even properly prepared.
So you don't have a budget then?
Yeah.
If it is not properly prepared, then there was none?
Yeah. Because because at the end of when we look at the budget, when we came in, when you look at the budget was not because what was budgeted cannot be received. It was because at that time, councils were just going in for the 40–60%, and they inflate the revenue just to get the 40–60%, which was impossible. Because if you look at Mansa Konko, you draw a budget of 25 million, which you can never have in Mansa Konko. So that was the thing.
Yeah, you can understand that why that is done. But again, the budget is not really cast in stone. It's just a financial planning to help you plan during the course of 12 months. Yeah. So even if you have a budget of 25 million, it doesn't actually mean that you're going to receive everything, because this is just a plan to help you. Yeah. For example, you want to spend money in a particular area in the development or so at least you should have something. Now, the question we need to ask, Chair, now is who authorized this over expenditure of 133,857 as of the end of the 2019? Who authorized this expenditure?
Normally, overdrafts are authorized by the CEO as the Chief Finance Officer and the Director of Finance.
Okay, so can we have documentation along those lines that it was approved by the CEO and then the finance director for this overdraft to be taken, and the bank details of the overdraft? Because if you're going to take overdraft from any of the banks, you'll have to receive a letter indicating that we are giving overdraft on so and so, and to be paid in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. So we need to have information about that overdraft. Maybe if you don't have it here, fine, but you can supply it to the committee. That's 133,857.09. Chair, for me, I'm done with the financials for now, but it seems the finance act will have to be redone again. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come to that at the conclusion stage. Yeah. Still on the finance. Okay. Yeah.
This Yeah. The respective sum of 9,100,000 variance is as a result of some of the revenues not enriched in the ledger balance to the trial balance. as vice versa. I said the respective sum of 9,127,636 variance is as a result of some of the revenues not enriched in the ledger balance.
Not
Because you know the trial balance, the trial balance cannot relate these mistakes in the journals. I said the trial balance. You know, if you look at the annex 4.51, where you have the lodger's tax, they are not entered in the trial balance. Plus, the residential rate was understated in the ledger balances. So that causes those are errors of omissions. Those are like if you check 4.5 in the last page. 4.51.
on which page?
Annex, the annex on the financial statement, 4.5.
Okay.
Page 4.46, yes. Page 45, Annex 6, the variances. Yes, if you look at it, the lodger's tax, the fire insurance, and other taxes, and you look at the residential rates, was understated, because what is in the ledger balance was 4,484,676, and on the trial balance 5 million. That causes the difference. These are errors of omissions. Look at it, that's 5,600,000, meaning it was understated by 5,024,786. That's the differences.
Now
As in the
Yeah, this needs to be cleared. And when you talk about residential rates, you have in the trial balance that much different from what you have in the ledgers. The question is, before you have a trial balance, your ledgers must be posted. What is the source of the postings in the trial balance? The source should be the general ledger. The source should be the general ledgers. Okay. So,
you know, some of the
and the other question is, what are the figures shown? Which figures are shown in the income and expenditure statement? What you have in the general ledgers, or what you have in the trial balance?
is what we have on the trial balance that shows in the financial statements as 5,687,698 point that.
So that would mean you need to go back and adjust your general ledger.
Yes.
Yeah, this is simple. Nothing is happening. It's just simple accounting. It's just simple accounting that we're trying to explain here, that the source of your general ledger is your trial balance listing is your general ledger. If you have 5 million in your trial balance, it must have a source, which should be the corresponding general ledger account. When that general ledger account is lower than 5 million, it cannot be. The two have to be the same. Okay? You understand? Thank you.
We go on to the management letters. Turn to page 3 of the management letter. Yesterday, the auditor read the findings And if you go through, it starts with the internal control environment. 3 points were raised in relation to the internal control environment, which I need not to go. Yesterday they were read. Let's get down to the recommendation advanced by the auditor. We recommend that management implement the appropriate good corporate governance practice as established by the relevant council policy and procedural documents. Management should at all times uphold this very important responsibility put to its charge at all times. And we would like to get the response of the management. The CEO.
Page 4.
Page 4.
Management letter.
Reference is made to the findings established by the auditor on the internal control environment. And what's your take on the recommendation given by the auditor?
Okay, looking at the recommendation of the audit.
Yes.
Concerning about the good corporate governance practices.
Concerned about the internal control environment, there are findings on that. I need not to, I think you can go through. There are 3 points raised yesterday, they were read. I'm just trying to spare time.
Yeah, exactly. The response we have here, management will also ensure that corporate governance practices are established according to the council policies. And presently, I think as far as it is a process, we are working on it. We have realized that during the audit exercise, we experienced some of these findings. And council is vigorously working on it, and there are some improvements taken on it.
When you say we are working, this is way back in 2019. We are now in 2023. What is your stake in trying to address?
Yeah, it is a process. That's why I said we are working on it, and I believe council
if you say we are working, we want to know what have you done so far as at now. But is 2019 to date? It could be very vague to tell us we are working.
Yeah, because we have some control mechanisms put in place. When you look at, when it comes to the revenue collection side, we make sure that proper postings we are done, and we make some correspondence to make sure that control mechanisms are put in place to make sure every fortnight revenue collectors have to report in office. We have a team set up whereby from time to time we have desk collections done, especially at the Luma and the market areas. Revenue collectors are also lodging at the banks every fortnight before coming to the office for submission. And any amount that they collect, we make sure that it is lodged at the bank. Yeah, on the side of the internal control system, these are what is going on. And on the side of staff matters too, we are also working on so many issues because we have so many findings concerning about staff matters which they also talked about, and all those things were corrected. An example of on the side of payments, revenue collectors being paid allowances in different amount, which we corrected all those things. So I believe we are working on it still to make sure that everything is in accordance.
Honorable Chair.
Chair, can they explain, can they tell us when exactly do you start working on it anyway?
It's immediately when we receive these findings from the audit.
And when exactly was that, please?
Pardon?
When exactly was that? When was that?
This audit period was as of December 2019.
Thank you. Then one would expect, we are now in 2023.
Yes.
Significant changes would have happened by now.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
in 2020, 21 reports will see, if not all, but big changes to that effect.
Exactly.
It was concluded in 2020.
Yeah.
Auditor? Yes.
Okay, I just listened to his statement. He just mentioned that lodgements by these revenue collectors are done every fortnight. Aren't you concerned that these revenue collectors only bank every 2 weeks? Is that good cash control?
They go to the bank fortnightly. Is the mic on?
They have to come and report to the office to close their cash books. But revenues, whenever they are collected, we advise them to go and pay to the bank. And when coming every fortnight, closing their cash books, they have to come with those slips.
Do they deposit on daily basis?
Actually, it depends on what they have collected, because you cannot collect maybe a token sum from a faraway area just to come to Soma and lodge that, for instance, 1,000, 2,000, or 3,000. Yeah.
Like those in Soma?
Yeah, for those in Soma, it's daily banking.
Daily?
Daily banking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honorable Chair, the only time we allow collectors to handle cash is collectors that are in FPAC, and some of them, before they have access to the bank, will take 2 or 3 days. But within Soma and Bureng, they bank daily.
Cham?
Yeah, Chair, I just wanted to ask how much would they be having? Like the collectors, you mean FPAC, so they will do, or they will bank like 2-3 days. How much exactly do you think they'll be having in hand, at house before do the banking? And do you think it is also safe for them to have that money for like 2-3 days if it is a bulky amount?
Normally, when they are called, some of them are stationed in a particular place, and when the rates are collected by alcohols, they will be called, and they will collect maybe 2 places, and come to some of them. Most of the time, each plate in care, care is very big. Some of them 5,000, 3,000. But in a bigger villages like also, where they at least over 10,000, of course, that one, as they receive, they will come to Soma, because we ask them to take transport and that they come to Soma to deposit. Because they should not handle more than 5,000 on 2 days. That's the policy.
Sane?
I don't know whether this applies to Mansakonko Area Council, but I've experienced this in my village, where the alcalo collects money without receipt book. You'll put them down and they say the receipt books are finished till when the receipt books are supplied. And when they come, they start transferring these names. There will be an event where orders would not even be issued with receipt, and they will claim that they have paid. Even myself, it happened 2 occasions where the alcalo has to take money from me without a receipt, and when I came to claim my receipt, there was no receipt for me. So it became an argument. So I just look at, maybe it's just a small token after, but others, they have to be quarreled with the alcalo. So this is a common problem. Almost every year is happening in my village. I don't know. This receipt payments of tax. I don't know they are your collectors, but there is serious problem.
Actually, we have never experienced such because for us, when an alcalo collect for a particular village, because they had a percentage, and that they will be eager to collect all those monies at the same time to get their percentage. So that is why, and that they don't give cash without receipts. Because alcalos, at the end of the day, because if they want to get their commission, the CEO will not sign their commission until and unless he saw those receipts attached before they can get their 5% this thing. So that is why they cannot pay if don't have the receipts. The CEO will not approve their 5% this thing, and that they will not pay if they don't have the receipts.
Okay, let's proceed. You want to?
Yeah.
Supplementary?
Maybe just to advise you, like when you look at this internal control mechanism, it's going to help you if you use the auditor's queries or these comments to guide you in the implementation of what they are. Then this will minimize up to a level that probably this will be the thing of the past. If not, every year, it's like the same thing is going to continue. You don't have even a base to start, like what we are saying, 2018, no opening amount. Which means now all the report, if you look at it, we don't even know where the source and the bases are. So this is even leading to most of these queries if you look at. So, but if you use this one and then go to the bank, like whatever the case, the bank will report something. Like what they say, even if you find they are 0, does not mean that that's not a figure. You can use that 0 to as a base to continue preparing your account. I don't know.
Thank you. Let's proceed with the issues raised in the management data. The second one is concerning the accounting policies for preparation of financial statements. The audit finding reveals that the financial statements related to notes were not submitted during the audit exercise for review, and further recommended that the management adopt and apply appropriate and responsive accounting framework and policies for the preparation of its financial statements. What's your take on that? Take 4.
Yes, it is a requirement for the financial statement to prepare and submit it for inspection. However, with the collaboration of UND and the Ministry of Finance, we've running a system for it, and that is helping to, as we post, it generates all the reports, right? So, and I promise that by 2021 account, we will do the because we have the reports from the even online you can program that
We will see changes in 2021, not 2020?
yes, 2021 you will see
Changes, okay. Any supplementary on that? If you're okay, we proceed with the next one. The key vacancies in the management. The findings reveal 2 key directorates that are not created, that is the services and administration. And then recommended that the council through the relevant authorities ensure that the vacant positions are filled with right candidates to enhance efficiency. Did you comply?
Right.
You've complied.
Yes.
At the moment, we have Directorate of Administration.
Actually, some positions were advertised by the Service Commission. It's not directly council's mandate to appoint these positions. The matter was reported to the ministry. We sent the vacant positions, and already shortlisting have already been done. So we are waiting on them the Service Commission to call in the shortlisted participants to be interviewed. That's where we stand right now.
but they are yet to do any appointment or interview. The posts are advertised. Okay. So listen also done. When?
It's about a month now.
A month?
Yeah.
Did you make any follow-up?
Yeah, actually, because they set up a new service commission, I think that's the reason why they have some delay. But I believe before the end of this month, interview will be conducted, as I was told by the Director of Governance.
Yes, Honorable Sane? Or
when we are informed of these key vacancies, was it in 2019? When were you informed of these key vacancies by the auditors? Was it 2019 or last year or what? Because we are in 2021.
Yeah, actually this was reported in 2019. I don't know actually what happened, why the Service Commission didn't take up the issue, but when I took over, I found the correspondence there. That they already sent the correspondence to the ministry that these are the positions that they would like to fill. So if there will be any delay, I believe it must have been at the ministry level. But I've seen all the correspondence in my file that these positions were reported to the ministry that they should be filled.
Maybe just to help you, if you continue, like if it is meet every 3 months, you keep on writing and then you keep your copies.
Yeah.
Because at the time of maybe questioning, you are the one who is questioned.
Exactly.
They are not here and they are the ones who are responsible. And then you look at almost all these councils, we have in these vacancies there when our unemployment is even around 12%, that's what is reported. And then you have vacant positions within the councils and other places.
Exactly.
Thank you, Honorable, for observing that. At this juncture, I want to make reference to the issue and comment on it. Like you said, it's almost happening in almost every council. Now, this was realized not only even by the audit, but the need was there, and the council, the general council, has actually called on it, and that's why he said he found correspondence there requesting for these vacancies to be filled. But we had a very inactive service commission at the time that was not responding to those calls. And I can reliably say, you know, when this was written, it was a long time, and the positions still remain unfilled, except very recently when, you know, action is taken. So that is outside the control and domain of the council. The report goes to the ministry and it goes to the service commission. So then I believe that was the issue that caused the delay. But the general council has even identified the need based on the fact that we were trying to operate on how we improve our performance. And if you look at these vacancies, they are very key to the operations of the council so at the time. And that was even the more reason why, even before audit, it was definitely identified and the request was done to the ministry. And I don't think it only even stopped with these vacancies. We still have some other vacancies that need to be filled. But also we have to look at the capacity of the council to be able to handle and retain and maintain such essential staff as well. Thank you.
Okay.
Chair, with regards to these key vacancies, don't you think it is urgent for these positions to be filled? And how frequent or how often do you do a follow-up to make sure that these positions are also filled in order to perform well in the council? Because there are lapses in some areas that we've all realized. So I think by filling these positions, we'll also improve, you know, the work of the council. So in that regard, it is urgent, and I just want to know how often do you approach these people to fill these positions, or to go on with the interview and then appoint people at least?
I think it was about a week ago when I went to the ministry and remind the Director of Governance And he gave me the assurance that before the end of this month, interview will be conducted. So I believe before the end of this month, these positions will be filled.
The next point of concern raised by the auditors is regarding the governance structure. That is the weakness of the governance structure. And on that, the findings reveal that the subcommittees were not having minutes or perhaps 1 minute in the year, and that's one issue. And the other issue was concerning co-opting experts in the subcommittees also, was also not forthcoming. And then since most of the members of the council are not experts or they don't have the technical expertise, it is required to co-opt in experts, which was not forthcoming. And there was no evidence of oversight role of the General Council over the management in terms of direction and supervision. These were issues that were also mentioned by the auditor, and then recommended that the council, through the chairperson, is ought to assume its full responsibility as outlined in the Local Government Act. That this should be done with a view to ensure that it decides its full responsibilities in both the structure and operation of the oversight mechanism. I want to get your response to that.
Yeah.
Three issues that are raised.
Yeah, I think that is well noted, and we definitely will not contest that fact. But I think we have since adjusted accordingly, particularly when it comes to subcommittee meetings, and in other words, also how we work with expert partners or stakeholders to add value to the processes and the procedures that the General Council will do, or the governance structure will do, so that there is proper oversight. So that one is noted, and we have since adjusted on that. Of course, the documentation reflected in the meeting minutes, which also is noted, but this is primarily linked to the limited meetings of these some of the committees. You could see for the Finance Committee and Contract, these are one of the two most active, and that is obvious in a management setting like the Area Council. Finance and Contracts Committee are obliged to be very active. So the rest were not very much active. That's why we were not having minutes of their meetings, because they were not frequently meeting. But then we have since adjusted on that, and I think it will be different as we go along. Also for the chairperson and the entire General Council to take up responsibility for oversight, that also is well noted, and I think we have since also adjusted on that as well. But if I can also explain, some of these are linked to limitations in the prescribed book of the Act, that sometimes, councils will be limited, because it's like you have authority, or you have a high authority, but how high, how low is not defined. So this, some of the times, will limit the oversight ability of the council. But then that cannot be a strong excuse. I can tell you, we have since adjusted, and council is working very hard, and that's why you see some serious positive adjustment when it comes to the administration at the council. Thank you.
The next issue is regarding sustainability of services. This is a concern noted by the auditors on the withdrawal of 3 key revenue components from the council, and then the grant payments to the council from the government. They are concerned on the general low rates of the tax collected, and recommended that the council, through the general council, take up the matter of the withdrawn revenue streams with the relevant authorities with a view to having been restored. A similar approach should be pursued with the government to the Revenue Ministry to facilitate the execution of the grants. How far have you gone with pursuing those issues that are raised by the auditor?
Yeah, I will want to take that. And this, I think, was discussed on several occasions, particularly when it comes to the grants. I'm privileged to be the president of GALGA, not only the chairman of Mansakonko. We've discussed some of these grants coming in, and some of the grants now being handled by other relevant government institutions, notably GRA and NRA. For the side of the GRA, we've agreed and discussed and agreed in principle that there is not a problem that GRA handles it, and in fact, it is reducing cost on councils, and probably it's going to maximize support or save time to collect it. Hence, we are getting it as a car park dues on time. That's fine. The only concern was the timely and the transparent nature of it. But then it's not bad for GRA to collect it on our behalf and then subsequently give it to us. So other areas probably will be work in progress. We see how applicable it is for either NRA or other government institutions to be handling this, but what will be the benefit? So the contention is it may not be bad for the revenues to be collected by those agencies, but what actually will be the return for the local councils? So that is the contention now, and still we are working on that, not only as Mansakonko Area Council, but maybe the other councils as well. So that is it.
Okay. The other concern is on the internal audit. Only one staff, and that is also not fixed, comes maybe twice in a week. There is also absence of audit committee in the General Council. A concern raised by the auditor. What's your take on that?
Any further of the audit committee issue, it is noted, but looking at the governance structure, where we have finance, establishment, development, and such other committees as the council may deem fit. For the audit committee per se, I believe council may not deem it to be fit as far as the council is concerned.
Why?
We have the office there.
Why?
The committee I'm talking of.
The audit committee
I'm talking of.
Yes.
The office is there with only one staff, and council is trying to see what to do so that we can increase it to more than one. But
yeah, that is the staffing aspect. But the committee part, you said the council may deem it not fitting for now.
Yeah.
To have the audit committee.
Committee, yes.
Why?
Because we incorporated in the finance committee. That we have the finance committee that is responsible of all these audit issues and so on.
You have the finance committee taking over the functions of the audit committee?
Yeah, they oversee.
Oversee?
The committee.
Why not now? We have a full-fledged committee instead of they overseeing.
Yeah, actually it was noted in 2019, and we believe we will set up the committee then.
Yeah, we are not convinced to say that we don't think it is necessary. It is necessary. If you are saying that the finance committee is trying to oversee,
council may deem fit.
Where will that transparency be?
Council may deem fit. So.
Yeah? Yes.
Sorry. Okay.
Chair, I think this was put to them that there was only one person as the internal audit since 2019. So when do you start setting up that committee? What they're talking about?
Okay, I think to be clear about this whole issue, we may deem fit to form or to establish any committee. But coming from the area council mentality and the limitation when it comes to resources, I said earlier, we are constrained. We find it a bit challenging to establish committees after committees. So I think that is why he's saying the finance committee is being used to support in that area. And my office as well, the internal auditor reports to my office. And I pick up issues with the management on some of the queries that come. But that is not enough. Like he said, it is being identified as an issue. So I think the best for us is to see how we work around to have a full-fledged committee established, which I think we will definitely do accordingly. Thank you.
When do you want to complete that setting up of a committee? When do you think that you'll be done with it?
I think it has to be as soon as possible. Although I said some of these things need some finance resource implications. So we will go in-house and look at the possibilities of doing it as soon as possible, because then it will add to our financial management system, but also our accountability, so that we will minimize some of the queries that are emerging from our audits.
Chair, do you realize that this is affecting your work as a council, and setting up a committee which was put to you in since 2019, and you're trying to set up a committee still, the structure is not yet established? So don't you think it is also urgent for you to work on this as soon as possible before your next presentation here or your next report to the FPAC? At least you can fully report that the committee is now fully set up, and so that we will not have any constraint of affecting your work as well.
Honorable, thank you very much. We will do it accordingly. Thank you.
Now, the other audit findings are related to finance, which I think we have dealt with when we are dealing with finance. I think we can skip those ones, the issue of the ledger and then the cash book, etc. This has to do with management 1.8 page 12 regarding the operational plan. No operational plan. Quickly, can you take us through why?
I will have come there as well. I think that is the thing of the past. That is a thing of the past. We have since regroup, and that is established. We cannot have a sound budget if we do not have a good operational plan. So that one is handled.
That's done now. How about lack of disaster recovery plan?
Well, we will have to work towards getting a disaster recovery plan. It's a challenge, and I think the Honorable House will also agree with me that Mansa Konko Area Council is a struggling council. So actually committing ourselves to or making commitments that cannot be fulfilled will definitely not be very reasonable, but we will not rule it out. We will work towards getting a disaster risk plan. Even though I can tell you we have interventions that are directed to disaster prevention, but also also support to victims. These are in plan, and even in our budget is reflected there continuously. So, but hopefully we will have to have a plan like is recommended.
Yeah, you should have the plan.
Yeah.
It is one thing to plan in order to realize your plan, but what is important, you must have something to guide you, and that one is really a necessity. Okay?
Okay.
Honorable Chair, this was a response from the council that it was noted, which was put to them by the auditors, and that they will also engage the director of planning, or the director of planning has been engaged to prepare the operational plan. So we would like to know at what stage are you with them, or with him, rather?
Who respond to that?
Was already answered. It means we still do not have it.
Okay.
So we're going to still engage the director to get us to make us have it.
Yes.
May I just clarify that there is nothing in the recommendation of auditors that hints on any financial burden on it. Despite the mega resources that you have, there are interventions you already make. The recommendation is just put it in the form of a plan, so as to know what to do in case of these things happen. So it does not need 5 million or 10 million, depending on whatever you have. You cut your code according to your own size.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier on.
Yeah.
It's one thing to plan, to implement is another. If the means are not there, fine. But at least you should have something to guide you. We cannot rule out every year we may expect disaster. So what's your plan in order you are faced with that? On presented documents, page 15, they are listed by the auditor. Quickly, if you can give an update. Now you know of the disaster recovery plan. It's not available, but you to work on it. Likewise, operational plan, you have that?
Yes.
How about the budget? That was an issue raised by Honorable Mbo, 2018-2019. You have the 2019 budget?
Yes.
Quarterly revenue and expenditure report?
Yes, we have that too.
Yeah, these are finance things. Just
Yes, we
recollection.
have the quarterly revenue and expenditure report. We have the bank statement, but not the reconciliation.
Okay.
The fuel register we don't have. Training policies we don't have.
What you are working on to?
Yes, but the procurement plans now we have.
You have that?
Yes, we have that.
Okay. Now, if you go to page 17, though it's financial, I don't think we've dealt with enough our analysis on finance aspect. Payment raised without payment vouchers. Concern raised by the auditors. And what's your take on that? Okay, 16 also. Okay, I'll come to it.
Yes, this was raised, and some vouchers were not signed by the then CEO and the finance director. That has been issued. But now that when the new CEO came in, of course, I think an arrangement was made to withhold his gratuity before we paid him. So that was why he came to sign all those vouchers before he was paid.
You have regularized that now?
Yes, that has been taken care of. Yes, I think you can. We have those vouchers. Okay. Yes, we have them.
You can?
Yes, we have them.
You have?
Yes, we have those ones.
Chair. Yeah,
because his gratuity was hold on until, because when the auditors send the approval for the payment, the CEO says he was not going to pay until he signs those vouchers. And he went over 3 times to come. He said that no, you will not be paid a dime if you don't sign. And then later he agrees to sign, then that's the time that he was paid. And even some of the, like if you go further, the GTR receipt number, this 27,800 was, which he agreed to be deducted from his gratuity, was all done.
I just wanted to highlight to, I think he's the finance director, that is not the ideal control situation. Signing post payment, especially when he's retiring. For me, that's kind of even hijacking to say just sign. I will just sign because the funds have already been disbursed. The best controls would have been before these funds are paid, then there's approval. So then there's good oversight and good control. But after the effect, it's just a matter of formalizing this, and I think that's not the most ideal.
Okay. Yeah, then we proceed. I skip another important point, that is the segregation of duties over payments. That is in page 16. 16. And the auditors recommended the payments in question are duly regularized and presented for audit verification. Hence, what the Director of Finance is advised to channel all payments via the appropriate stages of authorization and approval. What's your take? Finance Director?
I think there was some differences in between the former CEO and the Director of Finance, and that was why some of these vouchers, the CEO will sign, will give authority to the Finance Director. That was an issue in between them, and that was...
Personal difference or?
Well...
Administrative?
Yes, maybe admin. I cannot, but there are some. I wouldn't be a finance director, whereas I will not sign the vouchers and sign the checks, and that was happening. Some of the payments he will sign the checks and not signing the payment vouchers, vice versa. So that was in between them. I don't know.
But you have done on your own because on the 23rd December 2019 you were there, and there was payment of $34, and you were the one that was there.
23rd?
Yeah, December, last item on 35, where you have the list. That's the appendix. In the annexes, you've got 35, the last item. You see that one? The last item was 23rd December. And then if you look from the top, 2nd December also for the State Department. Same thing. So, exactly. So I think this is a big lapse actually. Because if the CEO is going to be allowed to authorize this thing and make the payments, I think that's a serious issue.
So
I cannot.
it's time to make reference to what happened during your presence as well.
I cannot remember.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. Regarding this issue, I think there are records with the Council on discussions regarding this CEO signed, Finance Director didn't sign, Finance Director signed, CEO didn't sign. Like he rightly said, there was some form of internal conflict. This is common in institutions, and this so happened at a time when the Finance Director was about to leave. So we had meetings over this to remedy the situation, that it cannot happen because as it reflects in the audit, the council, it was brought to the notice of the council as well. So it was queried, and I think that subsequently led to the Finance Director coming and signing some of what were not signed. It was not only a force on him, but it was like explained to him that their conflict cannot affect our work. And then after it was regularized. Thank you.
Okay.
What is the current situation? So can we have the assurances that when we look at 2020, 2021 accounts, we will not see such? Because again, this is a very serious matter. So can we have some assurances that 2020 accounts, 2021 and 2022 will not see such?
Actually, we hope so that it will not be seen as far as everything is manual. We may experience such when it is an oversight, but we believe we are doing everything possible to make sure that it will not occur.
On the same, okay.
Yeah. Now, in the absence of the CEO, and you need to make a payment right now, what do you do? What is the current, the policy you have as far as payments are concerned? The Director of Finance, the CEO. Let's say one of them is not there. So what do you do at this point in time?
As far as my council is concerned, some of those payments may be petty payments, petty cash payments, which the Director of Finance can easily go ahead with it. Then through communication, then when the CEO comes, because all the documentations will be there, and the recommendation have to be done by the Director of Finance. And if the recommendation is done by the Director of Finance, then the CEO will be there to approve it. But as far as it is,
can you use the mic, please?
yeah, as far as it is a petty cash payment, in the absence of the CEO, the Director of Finance can pay through his recommendation.
So essentially, you have a policy that dictates, for example, amount or what exactly do you have in place? Because, for example, right now, if the chair is going away, I will be the chair person. Everybody knows that. If I'm going away also, I said, okay, this person or this person is going to be the chair. Now, in the event that you're going only for 1 month or so, and you are in this post of, what actually happened? Do you have a policy in place that would say that, okay, in the absence of the CEO, this person or this person is going to be doing this second signatory, whatever?
When the CEO is going on leave, he has to hand over to the Director of Finance, and there may be some change of signatories where they'll be responsible.
Yeah, that's what we want to find out. Do you have maybe a policy in place or a document in place that would actually clearly spell out, for example, in the absence of the CEO, this person or that person is going to be signing on behalf of the CEO or whatever? Because Director of Finance will be there. But him alone should not be the, the authorizer and also the,
There is no policy.
There's no policy right now?
There's no policy.
Okay, that's fine.
Chair.
Chair, on the segregation of duties over payments, which is payments processed and authorized by the CEO, on page 35, on 3rd May 2019, there was a cost of motorcycle purchased by Masakonko Area Council, which amounts to $109,500 to Abdul Aziz Finks. But I'm not seeing the mark of that motorcycle in this, or the trademark of this, or the type of that motorcycle that cost $109,000 in this report. Can they tell us the mark, please? On page 35.
I think these are the two motorcycles that was purchased, where the auditors stated that there were no number plates, but the serial numbers were indicated. This 109,500 represent the two motorcycles that was bought for the revenue collectors. I think there is a portion in the financial statement where it is stated that the number plates were not supplied, but the serial numbers of the number plates of the motorcycles are there.
But it is, you didn't state it, it is not stated as two in the report here. I am seeing one. Is that correct?
No, it wasn't one. It was not one motorcycle. I think it was two.
Then I think it states superamended because only one is mentioned here.
Voucher number 1.
Is that the voucher number?
Voucher number 1. On the annex.
Different voucher number 1.
Yeah, it's voucher number 1. It was
But I think it should be clearly stated that it's two for clarification. Because the amount looks high.
Yeah, it was
for one costing one for costing $100 when it is not clearly stated that it is two.
Yeah, it's two.
Is that correct? Yeah. Thank you.
If we are to proceed, the other issues regarding the non-performance of bank reconciliations, which is a requirement in accordance with the Financial Accounting Manual for the local government authorities. What's your take on that?
For now, we are doing the bank reconciliation.
Is that?
We are doing the bank reconciliation.
We are doing?
Yes, now.
We are expecting 20 and 21.
Yes. For 2020. For 2021, Mr. Chairman, I rarely say that the accounts for 2021 will not have any difficulties. That I promise under. Yes, 2021 we are confident that the accounts. Yes.
Are you saying you don't have any, or you don't have much difficulties?
For 2021, yeah, 2021 we are doing the IFMIS, and at the IFMIS it generates the reports. And when you enter it, we're very comfortable now with it.
Can we be rest assured that there will be no difficulty?
Yes, with the 2020.
Nothing, absolutely?
Yeah, with the 2021, we will not have any difficulties.
Thank you.
That we promise.
The next point is the non-preparation of subsidiary books. It's also an issue raised by the auditors. You can find that in 20 and 21 pages. What's your take?
Anyway, there is an improvement in the preparation of those subsidiary books.
Improvement like?
Pardon?
Improvement like?
Yeah, improvement of updating the ledgers.
Okay.
Yes.
That to assurance is that 2021?
Yeah, actually, because for 2021 we are using the IFMIS system, we believe everything will be generated by the system itself.
Okay. On discriminate allowances payments,
Yeah,
the same page 21,
that has been corrected.
corrected?
Yes.
Yes, we need to know how was it corrected.
Yeah.
What actually did you do?
I think it was corrected by making sure that we realized that employees should be paid for $1,500 as transport allowance. And immediately we received the audit findings, we make sure that we prepare the manpower budget and make sure that everything is adjusted accordingly. And as I am speaking to you, since that particular period up to now, all allowances are according to the regulations of $1,500. That's what we are paying them as at the date we received this particular finance.
Yes, can you help us understand what regulation is that? That determines the 1,500.
Yeah, actually we received the correspondence. The transport allowances should be paid from $500 to $1,500. And that's what we are following suit.
Yes, there was a policy of correspondence from the ministry that those who are qualified for transport allowance gets 1,500. Those who are qualified for residential allowances also stated. So those who are qualified for a transport allowance gets the 1,500. At that time, some were paid $250 on transport, and others were paid. That was why the auditor says there was a variance in the payment of allowances, because some were paid $500, some were paid $250. But later we collected a correspondence from the ministry stating that all those who are qualified for transport allowance get 1,500.
Chair, maybe they were not following the policy, but there was a policy actually with regards to that. When this new one came in, it actually increased the amount, but the policy was in place at all the times. So maybe the policy was not being followed, or maybe it was unknown to them. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. We'll proceed. The other issue is on discriminate allowance payments. Have we dealt with that? Okay, you're right. And incomplete assets registers.
Yeah, the asset register, as at the time the audit exercise was done, it was.
Can you bring the mic closer?
It was not updated, but as I am speaking to you right now, all the assets which were procured by council,
they
have been entered in the register.
They are entered?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Chair. Who is the custodian of the asset register? Who takes charge of the asset register of the council?
I see the finance director. I think the CEO should be the custodian. As far as
the CEO is not here, is that why you are saying that?
No, the reason why I say, as far as our councils are concerned,
yes,
I cannot actually tell you who is the custodian, but I believe the CEO is the guy responsible of all assets all assets are under the purview of the CEO. So based on that, the asset register, the custodian of the asset register, as far as I'm concerned, is delegated to the Director of Planning.
Director of?
Planning and Development.
So is that on his TOR as an employee of the council?
Actually, I don't know. It was just a portfolio given to him at our level.
Okay, because if it is not, it may be difficult to hold him accountable for those things because of, his job description is well specified. So you may need to verify that and also to check whether that is really is the best practice, best practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, I'm not so sure if the Director of Planning. Yeah.
The head of the management, the accounting of the CEO, so he can dedicate to anybody.
Yeah.
And then, but whatever happens, he will take the
Exactly.
Unless there is a provision, other responsibility that may be assigned to you. Yeah, then the CEO can delegate other responsibilities to him, but as he rightly indicated.
What is clear in the financial management?
Okay.
Management consists of the CEO and his
Team.
Now the responsibility for him to delegate, but you delegate, but the blame or anything comes back on CEO.
So essentially, what we are trying to see here is, or to make sure is that no matter what happens, the responsibility also comes on your head again. So you should ensure that whoever you delegate to is actually in writing, and you also ensure that this asset register is actually updated periodically to ensure that it captures all the assets of the organization. Thank you.
The other concern is pertaining to incomplete staff files. There's also an issue raised by the auditor, page 23.
Yeah, thank you. That I can comment on. I think this was also identified by the General Counsel through the establishment committee. We saw the deficiency in terms of records in general, but staff files in particular, and I think it has been adequately addressed to suit the situation. Yeah.
We'll see changes in 2021.
Yes, certainly.
That's the benchmark. Okay. On incomplete establishment register, 25, issues were raised. Have they been corrected?
Yes, as at now, it has been corrected.
They've been corrected?
Yes.
All of them?
Yes, all of them.
The next one is the GTR used for deduction, 26.
Yeah, actually, that was an issue based on experience to all councils, which we were doing as a practice. But the moment we realized that deductions were not revenue, we should not draw any receipt for them. Immediately it was stopped.
Stop?
Yes.
Difference between GTR and cash book?
Um,
27.
Okay. Difference. These differences were caused by human error, and it has been corrected anyway.
Caused by human error?
Yes.
And corrected?
They have been corrected, and receipts were drawn to any of them who has the difference, and it is attached in their cash book.
Pardon?
The difference have been paid.
Okay.
And it has been receipted, and attaching their cash book.
Okay. Market sanitation, is that trying to be a general problem? When we are treating become area constitutes high on the table for discussion. Yes. And it's appearing, and the auditors are making concern on the sanitation in your market, especially the summer market. What's your take on that? There's improvement. How often do you collect the rubbish? Pardon? Daily. And how do you manage your dump site? Honorable Chair.
Do you have people who do the follow-up to these areas to make sure that the place is constantly clean and report back to your office? And how frequent do they go there?
Actually, we have somebody responsible as the head of the cleansing department unit, who is the supervisor of the unit, and every week they have to go to the market, because we have 2 markets in summer, and those 2 markets every week they have to be there twice to make sure that the dump sites are clear. Yeah. So already they have a program with them, whereby at times there's a special day which they use on the highway, that they clean the highway, and the other days they have to go to the market. So every week, almost they may have 2 days to go to the markets. Both markets, each of the markets 2 days, to make sure that all the waste are clear, picked there and taken to the dump site.
Besides sanitation, the other concern is the inadequate water supply at summer market.
Inadequate water supply. Anyway, we have a standpipe there, and we have realized that the other one was not in use.
A standpipe?
Yes.
One?
Yes. At the
as big as that market?
No, it is 2.
2, okay.
But the other one has a problem which we are working on to fix it, because it has a problem with the sockaway, which presently we are working on. But there is only one standpipe right now that is in use.
On the management later, finally, that's on the issue of Boyne Guest House. You've done investment in the guest house.
That's the Buren Guest House.
Yes.
Actually, for the guest house, we have already appointed a cleaner there right now, who is taking care of the place. And as I told you purposely, the tractor was also there to make sure the environment is clean. And we have some health laborers to be there. For this particular year in our budget, we have a budget for the renovation of the structure itself there, the property itself there. So council is working on it so that it can be usable, though the revenue collected there is very minimal. But council is working on it to make sure it is renovated so that it can be used accordingly.
Yes.
With regards to the Buren Guest House, I think it is already noted that the place is not that much fit for use. So as a result, that has reflected on its performance. Naturally, it has to be attractive for people to use the place, especially when it comes to generating revenue there, because people will pay for service that will actually meet their needs. So I think that has affected the performance of that facility. Myself and my team conducted a visit there. The upkeep of the place was definitely not up to standard, and we noticed it. So we had put in place measures, including what just the CEO rightly said, to renovate it and to improve on the conditions so that it will be maximally utilized by customers. Thank you.
Honorable members, I think that has brought us to the end of the... Yes.
Yes, Chair, I'll take you a little bit back with the inadequate water supply. With the conclusion, there is a fear that the service delivery function in terms of water supply will not be achieved. This means the users will not be available to the services needed to be delivered to facilitate the effective use of the market. So I would like to know what do they have in place to remedy that situation, or whether it is achieved now. I mean, the conclusion on page 30 with regards to the inadequate water supply. There is a say that the service delivery function in terms of water supply will not be achieved. I am asking, do you manage to achieve it, or is it achieved now?
Yeah, actually.
This was 2019.
Yeah, already we provided a tank, especially at the toilet facility, a water tank of about 200 liters. It has already been placed there. And it's just a matter of connecting the standpipe to be there so that we can have supply of water at the toilet facility. But right now, the guy responsible is using these 20-liter gallons, fetching water from the tap directly to the toilet facility. Yeah, but we are working on it to make sure that it is improved accordingly.
Yeah, that has brought us to the end of the discussion on the financial statements. Now we may quickly go on to the activity report for 2019. You have the activity report, and the council indicated conducting training for the VDCs and then the staff. What do you say the VDCs? Is it for all the wards? This was 2019. And the council came in 2018. So it was 2019 that you conducted training for your VDCs. And how do you put in place the VDCs?
Who trained them?
I say how, I want to believe the wards care councillors were elected in 2018.
Yeah.
Now these trainings are conducted in 2019. The question is, how do you put in place the VDCs? And in the trainings, are they conducted for all the VDCs?
Not all the VDCs per se. Just to also elaborate, we found some of the VDCs in place already. So the council, the coming of the new badge of council actually found already in place some VDCs. So there was no need to change them because the replacement of the VDCs probably will remain on the villages concerned, except otherwise where the council has to intervene, maybe in conflict situations. But we selected some VDCs, and the training was done with key partners like the Community Development or the Rural Development Institute, because we derive resource from within our own ministry. So these are experts trained over and over on, and they have been practicing, of course, these training programs for a long time.
On infrastructural development, there is a portion that indicated contribution to ward projects where each ward receive a tune of 35,000 to implement small projects within the respective wards.
Yeah.
Who manages this fund that is given to the ward?
The fund is managed from the center. That's to say, the ward councillor will work with the CEO to present a request for a particular activity or activities that will be costed as in line with what is allocated to them, so that there is some form of monitoring in terms of the expenditure or the investment.
The fund is not directly given to the ward?
It's directly given, but it's being supervised by the CEO.
But who managed the fund?
That's the ward committee.
That's the ward committee?
Yeah.
That means to say each ward has an established
ward committee, yes.
Ward development committee?
Yes, yes.
And they retire back to the council?
Back to the council, yeah. That's why the CEO is in the center of things, so that it's not only at the convenience of the ward committee or the ward councillor to administer the entire process.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Can we, how is this done? Do you give them physical cash for them to do that, or do they come up with a project with the costing and everything, and then you pay, or how do you manage this?
I mean, they identified their individual projects as far as their wards are concerned. Yeah. They identify their projects, and the investment is based on that. Yeah.
If they identify their projects,
yeah,
and
pardon?
The contract, is it awarded to a particular contractor, and if so, by the council or by the ward development committee?
By the ward development committee.
By the ward development committee.
But like I said, the CEO will guide the process. Yeah.
Of course, in the activity report, we have issues surrounding markets, education, health.
Chair, I want to ask about this fund given to the Village Development Committee. Do you give it to the councillor or the Village Development Committee?
No, it's Ward Development Committee instead of VDC.
Yeah, the Ward Development Committee.
Yeah.
So do you give them the money physically or what?
No, we do not give them money physically. We give check, but it has to be based on a particular activity or activities that will be conducted at the ward level. and the activity will be conducted by the ward, not the councillor per se.
Yeah, but the check, who do you give the check to?
The check
Whose
is
name?
delivered to the councillor.
No.
Through the Ward Development Committee.
You mean whether it's paid directly to the hands of the who?
Councillor.
The councillor.
Yes.
So,
If you have established double DC, the double DC is supposed to open an account.
Yeah, okay, I got it now. It's paid to the ward account through the councillor. It's given to the councillor for the ward account. It's for the ward, it's not for the councillor per se.
Okay.
Yeah.
again, you've said about when you first came to office, you found that there was already an established ward development committee.
No, I say VDCs.
VDCs.
The ward development committees will now be established by the new team, because then the ward councillor will be the chair of that committee.
But what is their term in office as a VDC? There must be an established period of time that they should serve, either 2 years or 4 years.
Okay, thank you. I think that one, you're taking us to another level. Are you talking about VDCs or you are talking about ward committees?
No, both. You know, the ward development committee it comprises of the VDCs.
Yes.
Members from every VDC that is within the ward.
Yes. So to that effect, I would say the VDCs, are registered organizations at the village level. They might have their what we call their own rules and regulations, constitution, and that constitution will dictate the period they will stay in office, and that is not dictated by the council, and it also didn't reflect in the act. So they might have their bylaws or their rules in the constitution as to what is their term. So that is to say, a particular VDC in a particular area may stay longer than another one, and that will depend on their bylaws or their constitutional arrangements. So that is not dictated by the council.
Of course, yes, it should be dictated by the council through the community service, who prepares their constitution, in order to avoid people staying in the VDC, overstaying in the VDC. Yes.
Thank you very much for seeing that, and I think I will agree with you. We have identified the need for that so that it's standardized, not only for Mansakonko area, but I think this is an issue that we are even facing. You go to some communities, their VDCs overstay, and just to tell you, VDCs are very, there is always some wrangling here and there because of either overstay or issues. So you find it difficult to get rid of members, because also members are not just selected. They are representatives of the Kabilos. So you are not at the Kabilo level to disqualify them or to do one or two, but they can be regulated by term limit. So that term limit becomes a challenge. So, but I think that's a point we will take on board, and I think it's going to be a learning point. We see how we work towards having a standardized term limit for VDCs, not only for Mansakonko, but maybe even beyond. That will help the situation.
Be a challenge, because it is in the Local Government Act that the members who select that VDC should determine how long they should stay in office.
Yes.
So that shouldn't be.
But those are the stakeholders at the grassroots. That's not at our level. So if you want to interfere to that level, you might cause a bigger problem. The Kabilo representatives, you cannot interfere with that.
Okay, thank you so much. I think we have had enough on the VDC. VDCs are general issues. I believe that should be addressed in the Local Government Act that is currently under formulation, that in order to have our ward committees functioning, there should be proper VDCs VDCs overstaying because there is no that control mechanism in place. So that's why that is happening. Most of the VDCs may end up reducing to one-man show. So I think that situation is only the act that can address that. On that note, honorable members, that has brought us to the end of the. Okay.
This Bureng Lodge, who actually owns the lodge? Is it the council or who owns the lodge?
It's the council.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
We've now come to the end of the discussion on the reports, both the financial statements and then the activity report. I would like at this juncture for Mansa Konko to excuse us just for 2 minutes. We'll do our analysis of the discussion and get back to you. Just 2 minutes. Oh, no. Yes. Honorable colleagues, we've intensively discussed the financial statements and then the activity report for 2019. Where we have the
I think it seems just like what we have done with, Banjul City Council. I think they have to redo the accounts completely, because there is the adverse opinion is a serious matter due to material misstatements.
to redo the financial statements and then the activity report for the simple reason that the auditor's position that the accompanying financial statements do not present fairly financial position of the council, taking into consideration some of the issues that are raised, and we would like you to make adjustment, just adjustment on those areas. That is, the notes that we observed, that notes were not indicated, and then the balance sheet also was not available. There is no comparative reporting, and the variance and trial balance as well are issues that we feel you should make adjustment in those areas. Likewise, what other audit queries have been advanced that there's a need for adjustment, you can equally do so. That's for financial statements. And the other issue about that is on the opening balance issue. That's a point that we also raised, was not available. On activity report, it was somehow confusing. The two reports that were given were both relevant. What we want you to do is to reconcile and then come with one document that could reflect the substantive report from Mansa-Konko Area Council for 2019. And we are giving you up to on the 7th April for you to redo these reports and submit back to the committee. That's the decision that the committee have taken. On that note, honorable members, I thank you for your participation. Yeah, on the 7th April, 7th April. And Mansa-Konko Area Council as well, likewise, our able subject matter specialists, National Audit, GPPA, we thank you so much for your support and then participation. And then on that, honorable colleagues, can somebody move that we adjourn the sitting until, not a day, but time. And we say these people should report by 1, and it's quarter after. Can we give ourselves at least 15 minutes? Yeah, we report back 1:30. Okay? I think that's okay. Okay. Yeah. Can somebody move that we adjourn the sitting until 1:30? Yes. 1:30. Seconder? It has been moved and seconded that the sitting be adjourned until 1:30. Those in favor, please say aye. And those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. The sitting, therefore, is adjourned until 1:30. Mansa-Konko, you are now released. Thank you very much. So, good. I'll be coming.